after the win.
With all the things that went on in this game, the timing, like you're talking about that right there, I mean, if you wrote a movie about this, people wouldn't believe it. They would say it could never happen. Reality is stranger than fiction, or whatever that saying is. That's kind of what it is here. I mean, it's crazy.
Greg Jennings is joining us now. Greg, good morning to you. I'll make this question easy. Who was more impressive last night, Lamar or Baker?
Well, both quarterbacks were extremely impressive. Obviously, the resilience of both was vivid, but I'm gonna go with Baker Mayfield, and the reason why is because I kind of expect the heroics from Lamar. We've come to know he's such an electrifying player, and he can make anything happen in any moment, and that's exactly what he did for his team last night. But Baker Mayfield, he's been going through this maturation process of, can he decipher what defenses are trying to do to take him away in the passing game as far as throwing the football? He made some mistakes late. He threw the interception, but he was able to overcome it for his football team. And I believe if he would have had the ball last, it would have been the Baker Mayfield heroics that we would be talking about. So I like what I saw out of Baker Mayfield simply because I'm not sure we've seen this out of Baker Mayfield, where he has made a decision that could have been very costly for his team and then bounced back, came to the sideline, showed some poise, and got back out on the football field and drove them down to tie the game.
Greg, is that what we're doing this morning? You really want to give out moral victories? That's what we're doing.
Mayfield,
You and Nick Wright want to sit up here.
Victory. For
wow,
Baker, I'm
so
definitely giving out
that's
more
fine.
victory. I like what I saw.
Look, I agree with you. Both quarterbacks looked phenomenal last night. Baker Mayfield is ascending in the right direction. But I'm not shocked by Baker Mayfield. A couple weeks ago, Baker went for 300 yards. Even last week against the Tennessee Titans, big win for them, going against the 28th ranked defense in the National Football League. But when you go back and you look at all of Baker Mayfield's big games, he's done it against the terrible Bengals, and he's also done it against a really good Baltimore Ravens defense. So I'm not surprised that he had another good game against the Baltimore Ravens. This dude had poise. His demeanor on the sideline, what he did before the game, how he handled the media, no distractions there after the game. Phenomenal job, Baker. But who was the better quarterback last night? It was the guy who got the win and the guy who didn't cost his team the game. Like you guys are talking about this pick as if it wasn't a big deal. Like, you know this, Greg, that the biggest indicator in winning and losing is turning the ball over. Now, Nick, you can talk all you want about like how great he's been playing and all the storms and the weather and all of that other stuff. But last night, the biggest moments, that's what we wanted him to do, is come in, play well, get a win, and not turn the ball over. And he played well, but he turned the ball over, and that's why they lost. The biggest indicator in winning and losing in the National Football League, it's turnovers, Nick.
Brandon, it is the biggest indicator, but that does not mean that every game that is played, you just look at the turnover and say that determined it. Some games it does, some games it doesn't. Honest question before I give my opinion. Oh, right. Well, kind of. But my question is this.
No, it's not.
You think the biggest play of last night's game was the interception with 4.5 minutes left in the third quarter when the Browns were down by 8? You think that was the biggest play of the game?
100%. It was one of the biggest plays of the game. That was damn near a pick six. That's what that was. You can't do that. You can't turn the ball over in big games. I mean, most games in the National Football League comes down to 2 or 3 points. And look what happened. If you don't turn the ball over, you probably win. You see the guy running underneath him. He saw him. And his decision-making in critical moments have been iffy. This is what you can't have.
Okay. And so, listen, I don't like turnovers any more than the next guy. But what I would say is, if you're going to turn it over, and you're right, it essentially is a pick six, put your team down 14 points, then you sure as hell better after that play great. So how did Baker do
win the game
after the turnover? How did Baker do after the turnover? Oh, that's how he did. Well, were they trailing the whole time? No, they took the lead. Baker left the field up 35-34. And then the Browns, in a huge play we're not talking about, gave up a 3rd and 12 to Trace McSorley before Lamar even came in. And then 4th and 5, Lamar has his heroics. Okay, great job, you're gonna win. Nope, Baker with 2 minutes left gets the ball back, and the mistake he makes there is he's too good on that last drive. He didn't take enough time on that last drive. Drove him down the field in 47 seconds, which left enough time for the greatest kicker, with respect to Vinatieri, I think the greatest kicker in league history, Justin Tucker, to do his thing. So Wilds, I feel like it is
and you lost.
Categorically insane.
No, it's not. You lost.
Yeah.
You lost the game, Nick. Like, why are you guys doing this? You lost the game. We can highlight any player. Nobody's going to remember that game.
Because
next year, a couple weeks from now, when the Baltimore Ravens actually take control of that spot, because they're not going to finish the season better than the Baltimore Ravens, we're not going to go back and say, Baker Mayfield played great. They lost the game. That's point blank, period. They lost the game. Why are we highlighting this kid as if he played so amazing? Look what he did after the pick. Like, you lost the game. That's what we're paid to do. Win. That's it.
Got it. Got it, Brandon. That's what the players are paid to do. And what we're paid to do is address the game with nuance and analysis. And simply saying,
I have a question.
Ravens won, therefore, everyone on the Ravens must have been better than everyone on the Browns. They got on the winning bus. They're getting game balls. That's not how I view it. If it were a playoff game, maybe.
Well, if you want to talk about, what we're talking about, what you're paid to do is you want to sit up here on television and you want to pull up all these stats. Look what he did after he threw a pick. No, the pick is a pick. It's a big determining, it's big the indicator in wins and losses. Point blank, period. They lost the game.
Brandon.
Like, you can use these stats all you want on television to make your point, but they lost the game. Point blank, period.
Brandon, have you ever fumbled in a game before?
100%. And I sat up there and said I lost the game. I go back to playing against the New England Patriots. And we're playing it's a critical moment to get back into the playoff hunt. And I dropped a touchdown. And in that moment, I knew that we lost the game. I lost the game because playing against a really good team in a big moment, if you don't play damn near perfect, then that's going to be one of the reasons and one of the biggest reasons why you lost the game.
Okay, my next question to follow that was, have you ever caused a turnover or what have you, and your team still overcame and won the game? You've experienced that, correct?
100%. 100%.
And you've experienced being a part of a turnover and your team losing, correct?
100%.
So it's both an opportunity to learn. You didn't change who you were after that. You didn't go into the tank. The expectations was the same. All we're saying is, when Baker Mayfield created that turnover, there was more than enough football game to respond to win it, period. Did he do his job?
They didn't win. They didn't win. They didn't win. They didn't win. I don't care about if I'm going to win, if I'm going to learn from it or not. We're talking about in the biggest moments in the season. Okay, primetime games, playing against really good teams, you need to play your best games. You need to play damn near perfect. So, yes, as a wide receiver, if you go for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns and you have 2 fumbles and 2 critical drops, you're probably one of the reasons why you lost the game.
So,
right,
so
Brandon,
we're gonna give Hollywood Brown a pass because he was on the winning side.
Of course.
All right, Wilds,
Go ahead. Wilds, go ahead.
No, my thing is, like, we know Justin Tucker had a big kick. We know that the Browns missed an extra point. They sort of made up for it with the two-point conversion. But suppose it goes the other way, Brandon. If Justin Tucker misses and they still go for a two-point conversion and the Browns kicker converts the extra point and Baker ends up winning but has the exact same stat line, would you still be that critical of that INT?
Don't give me no what-ifs. I don't want to hear no what-ifs. I'm sorry, but I don't want to hear no what-ifs. What we're talking about is who's more impressive, Lamar Jackson or Baker Mayfield. I'm sorry. That's what we're talking about.
Here?
Lamar Jackson looked like the 2000. What we're doing? What do you mean? We're talking about Lamar Jackson and Baker Mayfield. That's the question. Who was more impressive? Lamar Jackson looked like the 2019 reigning MVP. He was the best player on the field last night. But because he didn't play, because he didn't throw for 100, 200, 300 yards, now we're saying he wasn't impressive?
No, that's not what we're saying. Not one of us said that.
That's not what we're saying.
We're recognizing what Lamar did.
If that, to Wilds' point, if Justin Tucker's kick had been blocked and returned for a touchdown, Baker and Lamar would have each played the identical game that they did. And if anyone would have come on here and annihilated Lamar because his team lost, at that point it was